Okay, guys, it's 6:25 in the morning. So, as always, we got up at 4, tracked our body weight, completed our meditation session, did some exercise, and here we are with the first task of the day, which is to prepare and record this video. Alright. So, today we'll be discussing the question on why growth in life isn't just a linear curve. Why doesn't it just increase? Why do I have growth phases? Why do I fall at sometimes? And what should be my perspective towards it? What is the right mindset to have when you expect growth in life, right? So I'm going to start off with a small story, a story which was like 10 years back in college. I had gone on a trek which is supposed to be one of the most toughest treks in South India, and the mountain ranges there were in this sort of pattern. And what happened was, when we started off, I had no idea or no clue how far the peak here is. But you see, what you can see is only this peak here, because your vision does not allow you to see beyond this point. You have this blind spot here, and visually it looked like something which we can reach in 4 to 5 hours. But again, it wasn't a easy track. It had a very steep gradient to it. It took us like 6 to 8 hours to actually reach this point. It was quite mentally and physically draining. But once we reached here, we saw the next peak, which is very quite far, right? And we thought at that moment that this is the peak. This point is where we need to go. That's our goal. Because from our perspective, that's the only thing which is visible. And it was quite far, like 7 to 8 hours again from this spot here. And according to the map, it said us like it takes about 15 hours to reach that. So we were like halfway into the time, and we took some rest here. We came down at some point. It took us a good 5 hours again to actually get up here. This was a very very difficult climb, quite longer than the previous climb. Took a lot of toll, but there was hope, right? There was hope that okay, we are going to reach there. We are done for the trek, and all we need to do is like find a way to come back down. But then, guys, this is the sad part, right? So you reach here only to see another goal, another peak here, and this just shattered us completely, right? Completely, guys, completely, because all of us had used almost like 95% of our reserve, of our energy reserve. We didn't have any good food left. We had whatever we had, we completed it. We were so drained mentally and physically. We were like, this is it, man. And you see another peak here. So what we did was, we took a day's rest. We slept over the peak of this mountain, and the next day we decided to actually ascend further. And eventually we reached there, in like 36 hours or so. It took a long time to actually get there, but I feel life in a lot of ways resembles this graph here, this mountain range here, because we have a certain goal, maybe a financial goal, or a goal with respect to your health and so on, right? But say you have a financial goal, because it's easy to visualize it. Say you want to like earn $1 million, right? And when you have a big goal in life, one of the main issues is that you can't visualize your path to get there, because there are so many sub goals which you need to pass through, and there is a lot of belief system which you need to change. And just like this mountain ranges here, when you're at the start point, you can't really see the path to the goal, right? All you can see is the possibilities based on your current skill set and your current beliefs, right? So this is what you're actually skilled at. You're skilled at maybe computer science. You're skilled at that particular role, and with that particular skill set, you can only reach, get to a day job and like earn so much, right? And you can only visualize the path based on the skill sets you have, right? And say you have reached here, say you have stayed in an organization for like 5 to 6 years. You understand how things work, you understand how a company moves, right? And then you have a different perspective. You know seeing how the organization works, you might think of opening one on your own, right? That's where the second goal comes in, right? You can see the second goal once you have like completed the first one. Once you have bypassed the first peak, the other things are visually in perspective. You can see the path, you can visualize the path to get there, right? And then you move to the second goal. Say you started off your own company, it's like running pretty decent, you're getting some decent amount of cash. The next question becomes, how do we scale this to get here, right? Again, this is only visible once you have like successfully established a company and it's actually generating profits, which might take another 5 to 6 years, and then you decide to scale it further. So it's always like a giant leap forward which you need to take in order to see the next steps, right? You can't always see the next steps, you can't always visualize the entire path. All you can do is like start off with what you can see, right? And sometimes there are depressing phases in this, especially some of these climbs here where you can't see the end goal and you are quite far away from the intermediate goals as well. And these phases, guys, it can feel very lost. You can feel very lonely, very lost, because years of your life pass. You might not keep seeing any progress at all. Life can feel so stagnant at some moments, right? And when there is a lot of time which passes where you have put in a significant amount of effort and you don't see the fruits of that labor, it's going to get really depressing, guys. But right, the goal is eventually there. You need to keep moving forward. It's very easy to compare where we are with respect to our friends or colleagues. You see them going very fast and we are still stuck here, even though we are putting in good amount of effort. But what you need to understand is that the skill sets and the belief systems vary with each person based on their past experiences, right? This is something which I personally experienced in my job for the last 3 to 4 years. I come from electrical background. Some of my colleagues are a computer science background, and my overall job is like computer science. It's like you're doing a data scientist role, and it's majorly coding and stuff. It took me a long time to pick things up compared to my colleagues, and they saw rapid growth, right? The initial 2 3 years I was just able to catch up. That's because my skill set where I started off with is very different with what they had, and although there was constant comparison, it wasn't fair. And it's only after like 3 to 4 years being in this role, I see the gap reducing between me and the other people. I'm trying to build up that skill set here and try to match up with the others, and this is where I am currently. So I'll be pushing forward here on to the next goal, to become the best in the team in my own job. And the last point I wanted to touch upon is these values here, right? So what happens is, once you reach a decent goal, right, you've been pushing yourselves for so long that once you reach a goal, the effects of all the burnout, the suppressed emotions, come out at some point, and so you're going to go through a period of lethargy, and you're going to recover from that burnout, and it's completely okay if you're not motivated, right? Because these are our recovery points. You revitalize all your spiritual energy and you prepare for the next climb. So it's okay if your motivation isn't always high, because life in general is going to follow a wavy pattern. And if you have been putting the constant effort, this wave is going to be an uphill wave, right? Just like this, there are going to be down spots, but eventually you are going forward in life. You are growing in life. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope it changes your perspective on how growth in life works. And it's never going to be linear, but there are going to be sprints, there are going to be rest days, but eventually you reach the top, and that's what matters in the end.